Hello all, welcome to MCT Japan Summit to 2025. This is Umesh. Today we are here for discussing about the cost optimization in Azure services. Um, I'm considering this as a beginner, starting this session with beginning to the higher, strength. We'll try to cover everything, starting from the scratch to the advanced level. In case you have any doubt or later you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on the LinkedIn. There is a scan code, QR code. You can scan it and connect with me. Perfect. Okay, so let's get started. So normally when we talk about the costing, a lot of people think that the cost is okay for the management. Okay, but any company, whether it's a startup or it is a already established, well-established company, it will require some amount to pay to the expenses of the resources. So today we are here to understand how we can optimize our Azure workload or AI workload on the on Azure ecosystem. Okay, so always when the money was invented back in unknown years, people always been asking that how much will this cost me? And since that the technology was invented, then the answer has become it depends. Okay, so very simple. It depends upon how you are actually architecting the solution. Um, what is the what is the what is the criteria, what you want to achieve, how it has been architected, whether you want servers to be highly available, and to an end to for there. So a lot of different perspectives are there of the cost. Okay, so we will move on to the next understanding and the agenda of this particular session would be the AI workload cost considerations and then cost management scenarios. So very crisp agenda. So as we understand any workload, or consider this as an AI workload, so AI workload will always have the cost, and we have to consider the cost while we are architecting our solution. Okay, now when we see that the cost has been there and we have to manage it, um, then the question is that, okay, what is the optimization around it? So there are two parts. One is that you right size the architect. So basically, you design the application, you architect the application, and then based on that you put the cost. Okay, and take the in the case there is an approval mechanism in your company, you take the approvals around it. Now I'm considering that you are very familiar with the cloud application architectures, as well as virtual machine, serverless platform, you know endpoints, VNets, and various other components within the AI which has been used. Now let's take an example, very small example. I will come to this AI application architecture later on, probably in a few minutes back, few minutes after. Now, what the point is, why we are discussing here the costing is, uh, let's suppose there is a virtual machine, and the virtual machine is costing you every hour, let's suppose $1, okay, or maybe 50 cent. Now, this 50 cent, if we run it for complete day, it will account to $12, right? 50 cent into 24 hours, it will cost you around $12. Now, $12 every day is very cheap. Yeah, does not put strains on our budget. But when it goes from 12 to 3 times or maybe X times, then it will be a problem. Now consider every day it is running, including Saturday, Sunday, where people are not working, but still it is costing you. So 12 into 30, approximately $360. Okay, now $360 again might not be very big on your pocket, as in considering you are a very rich person. But when it comes to a normal person who is actually trying to practice and get the business up to this speed, it might be a cost to them. Or maybe organization yearly wise, if you see, it is costly. Now, it is just a very small example. Similarly, when we see that our AI services, we are building blocks. Okay, overall application architecture we need to consider. We need to also consider the performance, business continuity. Also, we need to check whether we can use the AI services like OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, or there might be other components which might be required in the picture, which we have not included in the costing, but later on we have to consider it. Okay, so this starts with the quota. Quota means which model processing capacity endpoint you're using, what is the input size, what is the overall, overall call records, call rates, output size. It also depends upon the cache match rate. There is also the pre-call latency. So latency is again whenever whenever you put the query, how many minutes or seconds it takes to reply you back. Similarly, tokens in the prompt, how many tokens has been taken in the prompts. So the prompt, let's suppose you're typing a prompt, big prompt. Okay, so big prompt means number of tokens, more tokens will be used. Okay, similarly, how many tokens have been generated after the prompt has been taken into the considerations, then overall load on the system. How many people are accessing your model? Okay, that brings in. Similarly, BCDR. Now, we understand that there is an application which is already running, but people might not understand what is BCDR. BCDR is basically business continuity and disaster recovery. Okay, so Azure open services resources in different regions can be hosted. It can be load balanced. It can be in the one region is for your actual giving the services. The other region which you have created might be for your business continuity, disaster recovery. You can also do the manual and automated application chargers to redirect to the secondary region endpoints. So these are all setups which can be done. A simple architecture, which I have shown you into the system in the screen, is talks about that there is a user and then it is using the static web app. Okay, considering this as the static web app, and then with the help of the REST API, you upload or maybe you update the status. There are the various function apps which has been used within that, and it is interacting with the speech to text, and it is also interacting with the Azure OpenAI GPT. Okay, now it has been stored in some storage. Now this one is again like how we can architect and how we can actually get to the cost. Now on to here, there are services which is being used. How many services we are using? We are using maybe we are using these kind of services like starting with the AKS, serverless computing, availability zones we are using, storage, load balancing, networking, security protections or products. We are using the monitoring, backup. Monitoring will be needed because, let's suppose there is an issue occurred in the system. How will you then diagnose it? What is the root cause of it? So all this has been again consider this is as in monitoring enabling. So people when as an architecting, you may not consider the monitoring, but later on you have to. So think in a way that if you are giving end-to-end solution, what will be the troubleshooting steps? So troubleshooting steps starts with the monitoring. If you don't have the monitoring or you don't have the logs, you will not be able to find out what is happening in the systems. Now considering back to the understanding of the architecture, if you see, let me go back to the screen back. This one, AI architecture. So I would like to share some of the screens. Okay, so if you can see here. Okay, so I'll just show you Azure Architectural Center. Now this one, the example which I have taken is from the Architecture Center. What is this Architecture Center? A small understanding I will try to give this to everyone. So you can browse the standard Azure Architect architectures, which has been given as an example. Now, considering what is your solution, let's suppose you are looking for AI and machine learning. So you can just say machine learning. Okay, and then this will give you the various um, examples of the architecture. Now, this one is extract text from the object using the Power Automate and AI Builder. Now, let me consider this as an example. I will just try to show you how we can come to the costing part. Okay, so I'm giving you an example. Now, this example consists of the various inputs. We have the SharePoint, we have Teams, we have Outlook. So this comes under the Office 365 ecosystem. Then the document will take an input on AI Builder, document intelligence, and Azure function. This is basically core part of your AI processing. Now there will be a business automation and the user experience. Now, if you think that what is the cost around it? Okay, as in simple architecture, this is an existing input. These are the components, which is the Azure ecosystem. These are these storage. This one is the Power Platform. Looking for the index and giving the result to the customer or the end user. Now, this one, it might be very, very simple, but still it involves the cost. Okay, so we need to look at the solution architect. Once that architect has been done, you can actually club this. Obviously, it has some power platform ecosystem where you will do the ecosystem, where where you will do the power platform, which power platform licenses is needed, what app services you will be required, what Power BI licenses is needed. Okay, not only Azure but other components also gives you the costing part. Okay, so very, very small example which I have taken. There are yet another, lot of other architectures are available. You can consider one of them and then start looking at the costing. Now, since we are here, I will just try to show you that price calculator. So if you see here, what I have done, I have taken the price calculator, which is in a standard. Let's suppose a company is looking, your customer is looking for costing for a solution. Now that solution is based on this one. Now what are the components which has been used? We are using AI Builder, Document Intelligence, Azure function. Now few of the components, with the help of this, you will be able to gather it. Few of them like Power Platform, it won't be available here, but again you need to go to that relevant site and then look for what license is needed, and then you can add to the cost. Now these licenses generally is you get 30 days free. After that you have to pay either on the monthly or the yearly basis. Yearly basis is like you get some discounts from the partner, and the monthly you don't get. And Microsoft is not leveraging the monthly one. It is hourly ones. It is leveraging. So try to take the monthly one. Now yearly one. Now over here, considering that you have added all the components and you get the cost around it. Okay, so let's suppose you are in uh, a, a a region where it is considered this is an USD dollar. Now this will be considered, it will be currency converted will be there, and then you can get the cost of $30 per month. Now what is the optimization we are doing here? Now this one, by default, if you see, it is not showing 160. This is something which I have put in. But by default, if you add any VM, so let's suppose I'm adding a VM, one more VM I'm adding this solution. Let's see how much cost it gives us. Um, okay, just a minute, let me delete them. Okay, and do we see? Okay, so we don't see any changes. So me add a VM over here. Refresh this. Okay, so if you see the by default, when you add one VM, it is showing us how many hours it will run. 730 hours in a month. Okay, so hourly it is showing you. Now this cost is around $137. Now this can be further reduced if you know calculate the Fox example. So let me show you the calculator as well. So let me open the calculator. Yeah, so considering you work 8 hours a day into 5 days, which is 40 hours. Now these 40 hours into 4 weeks, 160 hours, 160 hours. So you can put 160 hours here and look at the cost, how much it goes down to $30. So almost it was 130 and it went to 30. So almost 80-90% reduction to this costing. Okay. Similarly, we have various other options like saving plans, 1 year, 2 year reservations we can do. We can now it is pay as you go. You can also go for dev test pricing. Now dev and test pricing are normally much more like cheaper than pay as you go. Now, what is this dev test pricing is basically pay as you go is always considered for your production environment. Dev test, if you're doing development and testing, not decided to go live till now, then recommended would be that use the dev test pricing, dev test subscription, so that you know your cost is not so much going high. Okay, coming back to the slides. If you have any question, you can post it on the chat window, or you can also ask later on over the LinkedIn chat. Consider this. Considering this, you can look at another options as well. So if you go down to the next options where we have considered the infrastructure cost considerations. Now within the earlier map, you know, if you see it is very simple, but underlining you have this many components. Obviously you will do the backups as well. So backup does had the cost to it. Okay, so storage cost it will take. Okay, and then you will do a daily backup. Okay, so daily backup will also cost you. Now very small comparison sheet where we have taken considerations of the costing, various costings which I have shown you. Now this one is basically based on the region, model type, models, input tokens, order output tokens, support levels, and licensing agreement. Okay, so this all pricing are pretty old in USD. You can check out the model. Right now, the model is ChatGPT, GPT-5 probably. Yeah, so we have other languages, base model, fine tuning. We have DALL-E. We have text embedded 3 small and large. So see the difference. Yet it is very slow, low in cost. But you know, when it comes to the querying and token, then collectively it becomes very high. You can see text to speech also it is taking low, low as in low and high. So $15 is taking, which is been consider units as 1 million characters and high as $30. And if there is a code interpreter, it will take around 3 cents per hour session. Okay, so considering this, I'll show you that how many search, if there is anyone using the AI search as an example, this is the cost which is going to cost you around storage, max indexes, your scale out limits, and then the pricing to scale per hour rates. Now AI search, you can actually import the data which is already there under the existing subscriptions, which is under the Azure blob storage. This can be extracted and then can be reused. Okay, so as we know that when you have the AI services, you will not be turning off and on because it is a continuous service which has been served to the customer, and it generally requires 24 hours of the operation, 365 days of an operation. So AI services generally has no way to turn it off. Model deployment endpoints are always on and they listen for the token inputs, but language models are charged per 1K token and not by the amount of time they have been running. Okay, that's the main reason that it is not used. It is not showing you on the monthly or hourly basis. Okay, it is always on and it calculated based on the tokens which it is generating. You can you can do the fine tuning of the models, and also it is charged by the hours because it will be only the particular time where you fine tune it during the deployment. The safest way to ensure there is no additional charges being incurred is to delete the deployment if it is not been used. Okay, so I normally recommend this as well, that if the VM has been not being used for more than 15-20 days, look for the owners and take necessary approvals. In case it is backup needed, take the backup and delete the original VM since it has been not used. Now, very important topic of the day, that how we actually do the AI cost optimization. So considering what you can do, you can consider using the pre-built models in Azure Studio to speed up the deployment and reduce the cost. So you might see you may use the pre-built which is already there in the Azure ecosystem studio, Azure AI Studio. You can take that models and use it, as you know that each deployment will cost you, and you can then reduce the cost of the deployment over there. Also recommended is use the right size series of the models. You have to use the right series for the model. Similarly, use the right series of the model, optimize token usage, combine or reduce the request. Example, do you need to send previous conversation components, including the responses or a summary or just a previous user input. Okay, so all this actually combines with the token and then it gives you the result from the AI source. You can also right size the application component and you can also consider the PTUs. Now, what is the right size of the application components? Now, the other thing which I wanted to showcase here was, so if you see here, right now, it is considered to be this machine, D2 VS3. Now, it might not be serving our purpose or it is serving our process. It depends what is the size, what is the load in that. So let's suppose my load is increasing. I have taken maybe B series. So let's suppose I'm taking around B32. Okay, now look at the cost. Same hours, but the cost has been increased. I'll just give you an example, not an AI, but this is a very layman understanding where we increasing the instance size and seeing the cost. Now I reduce it to someone maybe B2. See the cost, it will be much more cheaper. Okay, so that's the reason I would say that that's the reason that we generally the AI systems, we don't use a lot of virtual machines. We use the AKS. Azure Kubernetes services, which can run in very small CPU and RAM, and then give you the optimal usage on their processing. Okay, so there are various cost management scenarios. You can optimization scenarios. Now, what is this cost management scenarios? Cost management scenarios are you can have the review of your systems regularly. You can also monitor the usage. You can often optimize them. So to give you an example, I'll just show you the Azure ecosystem. So all the costing part happens in the subscription, Azure subscription. Now this Azure subscription, if you see over the cost of year, over this year, this is my cost of utilization. Now consider this from January to August. So January was very small, it was not going too much. Then February it rose to 30K. Now February, then you have the March, then you have, April, and then you have May. And from May, it has been continuously at same level. Okay, so total cost occurred here. There could be forecast also, which is not getting populated, maybe due to the refresh issue, and then the budget forecasting. So I was talking about the how you can actually have the cost optimization. Now, the first step is to look at the Azure advisor, Azure recommendation. Now, this might not give me the correct list of recommendation, because my subscription is MCT one, so it might not give you the cost. But generally what happens is this, while this is giving you the advisory, it will tell you that what are the services which is on, off, or it has been not used, which has been regularly used, or maybe it is regularly off for 3 days, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. And based on that, you can take the decision whether you want to go ahead with these services or whether you need to clean up. All these things can be considered and given to you. Okay, so let me go to the subscription again over here. Now this will give you the cost recommendations. It will give you the recommendation whether you can actually turn off some VMs, delete some VMs, all this can be done. Similarly, it also gives you the cost alerts and the budgeting. Now I'll just try to give you these budgeting details also. So let's suppose I have I'm looking for a particular services. Now that services is, I know that it is costing me around maybe it is 8,000 rupees, Indian rupees, or maybe Japan currency. So you can just edit this budget. Maybe I will just show you that how you can create the budget. So you can delete this and I will just recreate it. Yeah. Okay, now go to the add button. Now select the subscription, basically the your subscription, and then add the filter, what you're looking at, billing period, which is fine. And what is the name? So let's suppose you are looking for a services and the project. So let's suppose MCT Japan. For running the MCT Japan, we are using the web app. Now that web app, we put a cost around it. Okay, so let's suppose monthly billing, September, it will run through September 17th to September 2027. Okay, so 16 September 2027, this is 2025. What is the threshold of this? Probably I will say that, okay, maybe we are running for just 1 year. So we'll just say maybe 1 month. Okay. So we'll consider this as few months. And that's the September, October, November, 3 months. And we'll consider this budgeting as around 10,000. Now, how to decide what could be the budget? Now, if you see April, we go up to 23,000 rupees, spending, and then right now May, if you see, it is below 10,000 rupees. So we'll make this as something around 9,500, and whenever we get the amount threshold, we'll get the alert. So let's see. Go to the next. Now, what is the actual? Within the actual, if I get 90% of the amount, that means 90% of 9,500 will be 8,550. And then I will get the email. I'll just put my email here. Okay. And remove this one and say create. I can add a lot of other emails ID, those who are the stakeholders on this, and then create it. Right. So whenever this amount goes around the 850 threshold, then 90% of this amount, I will get the alert. Okay, so that's the budgeting and alerting system. You can still do the alerts in case you have to set it differently. You can set this alert like this. Yeah, so based on the anomaly which is received by the system, it will be sending you the details. Right now, this has been already set in my system, so it won't allow me to create again. So I have to change the name and then click OK, and it will be getting created. All the invoices will sit under here. Cost analysis will come under here, where it is cost management within the Azure. So forecast might not be available. You need to adjust the details so that you can see the costing around it. So I'm just considering this as the whole whole maybe 30 days. Let's see whether it will get you some data. No data. Maybe this quarter, last quarter. Yeah, last quarter we are getting some amount. Okay. So like this, you will get it. It will also tell you the details that which all components were used and which one costed you the most. See, Azure App Services, which we created, was around 558,820 rupees. Similarly, Azure databases, storage, SQL Server, and whatnot. DNS, Azure DNS. Which location which were cost? Canada Central was the costliest. Then we have the US US East, Central, India Central, and then intercontinental, maybe traffic incoming and outgoing. It might cost you. And then this is the other components with the respect to the resource group it is being used. So there was a development project, CB, Canada Bank, maybe development project will costed you this much amount. Okay, so it shows the group wise also, resource group wise also, what is the cost of using it. Okay, so yeah, to learn more, we have various links I have added you. This particular PPT will be available on my LinkedIn post. So in case you want to download this, it will be available for your download, and you want to modify and reuse, absolutely no problem. It is allowed from my end. I will give you the download access. Okay. This one is basically the first one talks about the Azure cloud spend with Microsoft Cost Management. Second one is you are start using the Azure cost analysis, and then you have the how to estimate, optimize the cost around it on using the Copilot, and then it also gives you the export of your data to look for the costing. Now exporting of the data a little bit, I will just talk about around it. Almost done. Just 2-3 minutes more, and then I will open the forum for the question and answer. So export, I was talking about that. Let's suppose you want to analyze the costing. Now this one report, you can actually do the sharing. You can do this sharing over here. You can share it. Also, you can get subscribed. So anything happening here will be listed. You will get the emails around it. You can also do the configuration under the subscription. There are a lot of try previews which can be done. The partner information you can update from your partner. Downloads of these, what are the components has been used, can be seen from here. Yeah, so you can do the Excel and then download the data around it. Okay. Okay, so we'll just cancel this. Not needed now. Okay. Okay, so the other factors which can be done on the go is the cost of ownership. Now this cost of ownership, there is a calculator. Apart from this calculator, apart from these price calculator, now all this price calculator is coming in from the component, the various components which we have. Okay, now this one is basically coming in. You can upload other storage accounts, AKS, Cosmos DB, app services, app functions, AI services, done, and then look at it. On the various components is giving you a cost of around this. But have we optimized it? That's the question. So you can go up and do the optimization within the same ecosystem, like ours, the CPUs, what are being used, and then how many managed disk you are using, storage. Now right now it is 000, so you can consider not considering this. And then we have the this one. Now the access tier, it might be a case that we don't need access tier, so we can go for a cool one. A cool one will lesser the cost. Similarly, these are the operations which is coming in. How many operations and data transfer will happen? Based on that, you will get the costing. SQL database is single, how many cores, how many standard CPUs, geo or primary application standby. Based on that, you will get the again costing. Similarly, databases compute, you need it for, let's suppose, 160 hours. And the cost was more, now it has been reduced to $80. Similarly, storage, we may require only 16 GB of the storage, so cost is again optimize it. Locks are almost non-change, so you will see it. Similarly, backup, this RA GRS is read only. This is read only. No, this is region wise geo application. So you can say local application happening. So this will also give you the lesser cost, I think. Okay. Oh, backup is not giving any cost to it. So you can see it as is. Similarly, the retention for the long term, you're considering 5 GB and it is showing you the costing. Okay. So earlier it was more, right now it is just showing $80. Okay. Now for the Azure Cosmos DB also, it is just showing you the costing, which is variable, and then the total cost is $54 for the for your storage account, and then go down for the Kubernetes services. Since we have not considered this, we have to add the details, how many clusters, how many virtual machines. Obviously one cluster, one virtual machine, or you can have multiple virtual machines, like maybe 10, and based on that it will give you the costing. Now this one is higher. Now you can go for a this one is the lowest one, you can go for a higher one or maybe cheapest one. Yeah, so it will give you the option of the costing. Okay, so again it is showing that it can go for the reservation. Okay, it is just showing that it is not available, reservations are not available, saying that it has to be pay as you go. It's okay. Similarly, the managed disk, and then the final costing. Okay, I think I'm done. If you have any question, you can touch base with me. And thank you for the time, and thank you for the patience for listening me. I have completed my session, concluded my session. Thank you very much for joining.